Yes, people, welcome back to another episode of That Gunners Talk, and we're here after a real mixed game for me personally. As Manchester United and Arsenal draw, we're reviewing that game. We're also going to talk about Andrea Berta. We're also going to talk about previewing the PSV Champions League second leg, and it's going to be an interesting game. We can sit back and watch. Not much as much pressure. I mean, hopefully, it shouldn't be leading by 6 goals in Italy. But yeah, we're gonna find out on the day as well who will we face in the quarterfinals potentially. But first of all, KP, you telling me, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Disappointing game. Obviously, I'm pretty sure we all expected us to beat Man United at least. Not necessarily wipe them, but at least beat them. And on the day, I think, as you said, quality performances from Raya and Rice. So we could have lost that game by quite a
Yep.
few goals, to be honest. And we didn't look like creating enough chances or any chances outside of the Declan Rice goal. Like, so that was, it was really annoying. I think it was positive to see Martinelli back, obviously earlier than anyone expected, and more of a surprise because no one knew like he was even available. So it was nice to kind of uh know that Mikel's still keeping us on our toes. But yeah, the game tomorrow where we can kind of watch with no real pressure at all. I would hope to see some rotation just so I can have like a bit more interest in the game. See how certain players perform.
Yeah.
And yeah, with the new sporting director being announced, I think that's the most positive and good news in my opinion that I've been able to see. And obviously, given who it is as well and his record and like what's been spoken about him, I think it's he's looking like the right addition to for that role and into this team that Arsenal are trying to do. This hopefully symbolizes a big summer coming up. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Yes, people, before I even give my take on the whole situation, before we get into anything further, don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, join the family of not only Gunner Street but Cape House Pausa. Definitely growing and definitely coming with Arsenal content consistently as we can. Um, First of all, KP, let's talk about the United game. We could get straight into that. Um, Talked about good performances from Raya and Declan Rice. Overall, I thought it was a tricky game to be honest, because I thought for large parts of that first half, I thought we dominated possession. Yes, not really anything clear cut, but there definitely was intent. But this game opened my eyes that we wouldn't have a lot of creative problems, especially when it comes down to unlocking a low block. And we knew that going into the game, especially lacking options on the wing, like real threatening options from the wing, as well as maybe a player that works best in those pockets to break down the team or maybe open up creative space with dribbling. But ultimately, um, it was a tricky result to take. A well taken. A lot of people not crediting. What was overall? What was your overall thoughts on that first? So what you thought about that first half specifically?
Um, like I felt like it was just typical Arsenal first half where we pressed well, caused United problems trying to build up from the back and really had anything sustained. We dominated the ball and territory. We like covered well on the second balls. We were trying and probing. I think without really creating anything clear. Like, I think there was that one chance from Marino where it was probably our own, like outside of the goal, probably one of our best moves where Odegaard found Rice and he set him again, and then Odegaard found Marino, and then I think Marino should do better with that shot. But apart from that, like nothing. And obviously United got that free kick at the end, which was a poor giveaway in the first place from Trossard,
Yeah.
and then obviously poor position from Raya for the free kick and obviously the goal. It was just disappointing because it kind of felt like the highs of Wednesday and the 7-1. Obviously, factors being obviously PSV play a more open style man to man press for
Yeah.
the whole game, while United adopted more the low block counter attacking uh you know way of playing that Arsenal have
Yeah.
struggled to find, as you said, with the lack of certain creative players both in the wide areas and in like the number 10's position. So it's just it was frustrating, but it was like I think because the league is done, it kind of makes me like I'm not
Yeah.
emotionally. like the losses or the conceded points or yeah, it doesn't really like it's not gonna affect me. I'm not gonna lose my head anymore. I'm not gonna get over the edge for a win. But it's more just the little things I didn't like that we just couldn't create chances, and it's been a common theme for the whole season. So
Yeah.
like yeah, that's my
Yeah,
opinion.
I agree with you. It was a very tough one to take, especially for me. But like I said, numb as well to the fact that the league is done. Either way, if even if we won that game, my I mean, how do you feel? No, though. I must say, do you feel? I feel ultimately, I feel let down still by the board because, like I was said in January, even before that, if we attack that window with purpose, we look at the position we could have been in. If we had a tighter title race, you never know. Liverpool's confidence could be knocked right now. You never know. You never know. But ultimately, we didn't put ourselves in a position like that. League is gone. But ultimately, that opens up a lot for us in the Champions League, and we could pivot to that. PSV coming up next in the Champions League. You already touched on it. You like to see some rotation. I like to see some rotation as well. Any specific changes you'd make to the lineup? Specific like anything you want to see specifically?
Just before I talk about the PSC game, I just want to mention one more thing about the United game. I do want to flag obviously David Raya and the saves he did make in that second half. Some of those saves were just incredible,
Yeah.
and you did to your credit. To your credit, you did mention about him being our unsung hero of the
Yeah.
season, and he's made numerous amount of saves and moments this season that have shown his quality, and obviously Declan Rice as well. I think he's just been a level above everyone else, at least in the midfield, anyways. Just the way he's driving us forward with the ball, the quality that he's showing, the intent and urgency that he shows, and then obviously his defensive tackle that he had on Hoyland as well was just one of many moments he's shown this season. Um, I don't like his celebration though. Obviously, it was 1-1. I absolutely hate when players celebrate an equalizer. Like if it's not a last minute goal, and even so, if a last minute goal, it's like obviously yeah, but all in all, obviously you've seen in discourse, obviously from Mikel Arteta's interview and the press conference of him walking out, obviously people just being all silly, in my opinion. Obviously, like I don't think a manager that his team is basically all but giving away their aim for the season is going to be happy or smiling about anything, even if he has reasons for why it's gone wrong, or he has like injuries or not getting the signings. So that's what I would say. But moving on to the PSV game, I think it's a difficult one because I don't see how a full rotation um can really affect and make us concede 6 goals, unanswered goals. But we don't want to put ourselves, I think Mikel said it in his press conference, in a situation where we're going to concede 2 or 3 goals early or in the first half, and then there's a lot of panic, a lot of worry around Emirates. PSV, they have everything or nothing to lose, everything to play for. Just keep going, and Arsenal, start to regress into their shape, especially if with this a really rotated side. At the same time, um, there's players that have been playing a lot of minutes, and I think they need some rest. So like the likes of Ben White coming in, the likes of um, the likes of what else do I say? So maybe Zinchenko midfield, Jorginho in the six. I would love to see if he would give Butler or Oyedeji a start. Obviously, you don't need to play Marino in the strike position. Obviously, Martinelli's there, so he might opt to just keep bring Martinelli in and either take Marino out or whatnot. But I feel like give Butler a start, give Martinelli a start, give Jorginho maybe Zinchenko in the midfield. Whoever, Lewis Kelly because he didn't start on Sunday, and one of Gabriel Saliba get a rotation. Raya has to play because the last time you saw Neto, yikes. That's all I can say.
Yikes! Is right.
So,
Is
so
right.
yeah. What about you? What changes would you make to the lineup?
Very similar to a lot like what you said. Maybe also overall KP. I just from in the Premier League and in this game, well, it's just one game we're gonna be able to do it. But I want to see us try something different. And I know there's not much you can really do when you don't have real killers in and around the box. And this is something we've taught even with certain players fit. Like we have to have killers in and around the team and chance creators in and around the team. And that's something we've been lacking all season long. But the real truth of the matter is I just want to see something different. I want to see maybe position change because Mikel Arteta does like to go like for like, especially in you see the game at the weekend. The substitutions he made were very like for like. Yeah, profile wise, they played slightly different, but like not the same. We were playing the same style of football. It was the same ideas, the same emphasis. I see a lot of people coming talking about maybe a formation change. I mean, maybe you could do that, but I'm really talking about maybe see a Zinchenko coming into midfield. Maybe we see a Muzzle with Skelly come into midfield. Because ultimately, I think the development of this Arsenal team has to do with us moving Declan Rice into the six, something I've been saying for a long time. And then we're talking about some player that could play in and alongside Odegaard as he drops deeper. I think that's his best position to pick up the ball off of maybe a Gabriel or a Saliba or whoever's the six. Play and play it to maybe someone he's a lane. Martin Odegaard is a very pass first player, and that's nothing first but against him. But sometimes he doesn't have the intent you really need in and around the box. And if we get someone like that, and I think Waneri is that, that's something I also want to see. Maybe try Waneri, Odegaard, Rice as a midfield. Maybe just for half. Maybe for half. I'm not just see what you get, and then maybe see what that kicks up in the Premier League. Because ultimately, Waneri has been playing. He's getting used to playing Premier League football. He's getting accustomed physically to playing at that level. So why not just try something? I just want to see something different in terms of personnel wise when we play them, because ultimately you're a very like for like manager. I understand that, but I do want to see when you do change these players in, you already have the profiles there. Use a Waneri in a different position other than off the right, because you see he's getting marked out of a game. So maybe find different roles for him across the pitch, because he's that good of a player that if we get him involved in the game, he can win us a game. Along with, because when Saka comes back, what are you gonna do then? You start, so like I'm saying, like still try different things. Maybe you didn't have to take off Waneri. Maybe you could have kept Martinelli on. Maybe try something different. I would have took Marino off, honestly, because that was food and drink for them. We couldn't put crosses into the box. They were putting in the box. Try something different. That's all I ask. When you play PSV, this is not a free hit game. We're up by 6 goals. I still think Mikel Arteta will respect it. Yes, I think Saliba will play. He did press conferences today, so maybe he might get the start. So I just want to see something different. That's all I'm saying. Player wise, because I think there's an opportunity here to see how good we could be, especially when PSV are going to try to at least show some pride. We can maybe play through them, show that quality with maybe a different midfield, maybe what I mean, just open up ideas. But yeah, KP. Oh, you're mute, brother. You're mute.
I do agree with you in terms of like just something different, innit? Whether that's a formation change, whether that's positional change, whether that's like role change. Obviously PSV, I don't think they're gonna lay down and not put up a fight. So I still feel that they'll probably still approach the game the same way they approached it last week, a bit more open, high press, very attacking, which they are good at attacking, which I think will make for a more entertaining game and a more open game. And we'll probably see, whoever does get the start, like players will be able to express themselves a bit more than maybe they were against, United and the previous Premier League games before that as well. I just saying, like, I would love to see Wanya in the midfield for once, and if he had tried that midfield three, that would be very interesting. As you're saying, like, or if he brought in Baladeji strike and brought in Martinelli on the right, or kept him, just or something. Like, who knows if Sterling's going to start or not? That's another one. Uh, yeah,
Well,
but
I
I'll.
think that I in the most respectful way possible, bro. 'Cause I don't even want to diss a man, bro, because I don't know him personally. But brother, like, what I wouldn't you're wasting a start, you're wasting an opportunity, bro. Because long term, look, he's gonna go back out on loan. He's not worth us. Mikel Arteta don't like to play him. If you wanted to play him, you'd play him. Give that to upper. Try something different, bro. I've seen Barcelona,
Yeah,
I've seen other teams across Europe pull from the academy. We've pulled from our own academy, and it's opened our eyes to different players. You never know. Just dip into the academy, like
yeah,
we talked about, and just
yeah.
try something. Try
Like I
something.
think
That's all.
like what Mikel, I think he was saying about rewarding these players for obviously training and being around, and like the appreciation of, like, so I feel like this kind of game, like, I know you have to start a few players, but I don't see how making a lot of changes is gonna completely kill us, especially in the game where it's gonna be very open. It can kill in terms of making the defensive changes. So I'll be wary of if he would want to start, like, like a Kivio, for example, or just keep Gabriel and Saliba paired. Bring in Ben White, rest Timber, start with Skelly, and then Yeah, but like I just saying Cabia maybe Butler, Deji, Salah, Dean. Can we? I can find it. Just give us sign. Just like we're watching a game where maybe they probably might not get minutes again this season, but in a game where it's a nothing game. It was not a nothing game. It's a game we have to win to go through, but we're gonna win or we're gonna go through at least. Just give the fans something like I just saying like I'm not watching this game tomorrow with any today. Sorry, with any expectations really. I'm watching it because I love the club. But like if I saw the lineup and I'm like, oh, Kabia, Butler, Deji, you know, Wanyeri midfield, I'll be like, oh, do you know what? Let me watch this game and see what we're doing
Yeah, because
because
there's interest. Because like you said, that opens up opportunities we could potentially attack. Maybe that's potential solutions. Maybe going forward in the season, you never know what you can find in the academy. Like I said, but ultimately, KP, we're talking about going forward and building. Andrea Berta basically confirmed as Arsenal's new director of football, something that we've been talking about. Something for me that has been pretty crazy. How we went through one of our most important January windows in a very long time without a director of football, and like that's really another crazy thing. We could talk about the whole January window in itself, but Andrea Berta, basically almost official Arsenal new director of football. He has a good record at Atletico Madrid. Some of his notable signings are Joe Felix. Um, you see Alvaro Morata is in there as one of his Julian Alvarez, Tomás Lamar, Diego Costa. He brought in Gallagher, who's turned out to be a good signing for them in La Liga this season. He's really, really energetic for that midfield. He signed Matthias Cunha from Hoffenheim, and he has a good track record, and he also has some good sales under his belt as well to earn good profit for the club. So ultimately, Andrea Berta, Arsenal's new director of football. A lot of good things about him from I watched channels like the Different Knock, people of that ilk talking about him and talking about his credibility and his cachet. I think it's a good appointment from what everybody says. We'll just have to wait and see what the summer holds because this is probably the biggest summer in a very, very long time for Arsenal, but definitely the biggest summer of Mikel Arteta's managerial career for me. I think going into this, I think this summer really make or breaks how a lot of people view his future at the club. For me, I like Mikel Arteta as a manager, but I'd be blinded by the fact that I don't think there's massive questions to ask overall about what we look like as a club going forward. But KP, talk about Andrea Berta if you have any opinions on that, and what do you think about maybe going forward? What's your optimisms or pessimisms, I should say?
I just saying, yeah, like he's renowned. He's come from a big club that have done well in his tenure being there. Obviously, going up against two big powerhouses in Real Madrid and Barcelona in their league is not easy. So for them to pull off two La Ligas there, some shrewd business. Obviously, you're gonna have some misses as well. That's part of the transfer window. But
Yeah, of course.
yeah, he's worked with a Spanish manager before. He probably knows how to identify players and get deals done. So I like that. I also got that. Probably about whenever we do announce him, I've got that in early before the summer started, so he can already start his work and start making the calls and
Yep.
align his ideas and add his take on the plans Arsenal already have for the summer. Um, and yeah, man, if it means that he has the ability to negotiate in terms of bringing big signings or big agents, and he can be the one, or he has links to or good relationships with people that maybe there's players Arsenal want to sign, and he can just easily pick up the phone and they can what I'm saying, like it's a good thing, and
Yeah.
I feel like we needed someone that like had a bit of pedigree. Like
I
all
agree.
credit to Jason Aito. Obviously, we don't know the work he's been doing behind closed doors, but he's definitely and probably been doing something. But I just needed to know that there was somebody that had a gravitas around European football and world football. Also knows what he's doing, his experience in the game of being in a club that is trying to win and going for Europe and stuff. And yeah, so I'm happy the club done that. Kudos to them. Obviously, off the back of a crap January window and obviously disappointing summer window last season. With Eddie leaving shortly, it took very long, but I understand sometimes these things take long. Maybe he only left Atletico in January this year, so it's possible maybe he got Arsenal got a word that like I'm leaving in January or I'm going to leave in January anyways, so just hold out for me and I'll sign straight away. You know what I mean? It could be one of those. Obviously, I'm just giving this club an excuse. And with Mikel Arteta, I think if he does get given the summer that we hope and feel like he needs and the club needs, then yeah, the pressure is going to be on him either way. But the pressure will be really on him because then it's like you have the attackers now. We have the players. We should be playing smooth. We should be dominating games. We should be winning games. We not saying shouldn't, but just the games because we're just a better team type shit. And I think, um, yeah, man, like
Yeah.
we'll see, we'll see, we'll see. I think with Mikel, I think I have criticisms of him, but I think as the man to lead us, I still think he's the guy to lead us to majors. I just think like we can't be having a conversation at any point during next season outside of injured players coming back and stuff that our attack isn't good enough or our squad
Yeah.
isn't good enough or
Definitely.
we don't have any creativity or we don't have enough
Yeah.
wingers with XYZ profile trait and nah,
No, I
that's how
agree.
I see it. And I feel like a bit of his frustrations that you're seeing in the last couple of interviews in the last like 4 to 5 games outside the PSV game
Yeah.
is a frustrated man. A
Yeah.
man
It's a
that
fact.
can't really say the truth or say the full story about what's going on. A man that is taking 100% of the blame and burden of the wrongdoings of the club right now and everything that's going on, and the even in terms of the blame of the transfers or lack thereof, which I don't think it's all down to him, but that's why you get paid well. That's why you're the manager of a big club. Sometimes you got to take the slack. I think the frustration comes from, yeah, man, like he's there having to bring on Tierney to come on, even though I think Tierney coming on left wing is good. He puts in some good crosses, but we're not a crossing and scoring free flowing type team.
Yeah.
So
Very much
yeah,
so.
like I think given players, and I think we'll probably see us start to cook that entertaining, enjoyable football again. In my opinion, I think it's just as simple
Yeah.
as that because I don't think our defensive shape and structure, the players we have, all of a sudden are going to start shrinking or start making mistakes, or the team is going to lose their discipline if we now have quite a world class left winger, world class striker alongside Saka to play in the front three. So
Agree.
yeah,
But KP, I agree with everything you said. Definitely, especially about what you see about Mikel Arteta, especially in these last couple of press conferences. People are talking about, oh, why is he walking off? Why is he just? I mean, can't you see? I mean, he just had a game where he had to bring on Tierney left wing. You're asking him about if the title race is still on. Obviously, he can't come out and say if it is or it isn't. He has to go in there every single day and talk to these players and get these players motivated to play under him. They really help him keep his job. Like people don't understand that, and I hate when people don't add context to that. That was my biggest takeaway from this weekend in terms of Arsenal content and football in general. Like we need to start giving a lot more context to certain discussions we have, and just stop being agenda driven. And that's my overall basis. I'm tired of the agenda driven media
analysis.
yeah, analysis, man. It's getting annoying at this point. But
Yeah, it is annoying still. I agree with
But
you, man.
yeah,
I end up
get
turning
get the
off a lot.
players in for this manager, and I back him to do, because you don't go from coming out of nowhere to challenging for a league title. You make mistakes first time going for a league, and you fall off. Then you come back again, 89 points, the most points ever for Arsenal in the Premier League season, the most wins for Arsenal ever in the Premier League season, the best defense. People were saying even under him, people were questioning David Raya. Well, look again, like that's another good signing. So, like you see, people, when he's had to go and be ruthless, he's shown that he's made great decisions. So I want to see him get back. I think he could do it, but I can't deny. I'd be blinded and say if we're having the same questions again next season, his head is on the line. But yeah, KP, I know you were gonna say something, but you're mute, bro. Don't forget.
Oh, so my bad. 100%. That's not saying I agree with you. Like, the pressure will be on him either way, whether we do get the window we need or if we don't, then people are still going to probably blame him for that. And then also look at the back of the season, all the pressure. Like, so I just hope that we enter the season with a squad that we're excited by. Like, maybe we might not
Yeah,
sign the number one, value or target player in each of those positions this summer, but we might buy enough to where
yeah,
yeah, like, but it
I
will
agree.
be on Mikel, and we have to deliver something. And I just think as long as there's no injuries, we'll be right up there to try and take this Premier League title next season with a new squad. But yeah, that's all I have to say.
Yeah. But yeah, well, and tomorrow, well, today I should say, we'll see who will potentially have to play in the Champions League. Can't wait to see that. KP, any final words as we close out and as we look forward to what should be a good overall Champions League game, hopefully.
Uh, a good game. Yeah, I think no, yeah, yeah, I'm just laughing because we won this game. Yeah, I'm just maybe I'm too relaxed
I
because I
still
ain't
want
got
to
no
see it.
worry.
I still want to see a good game. I still want at
No,
least us.
I do want a good game, an entertaining game. I just think obviously off the back of Liverpool, obviously getting knocked out of Champions League, obviously we're the only with Aston Villa the only English club left, and obviously you're not saying with Liverpool there wasn't a good chance, but it's a good chance for us to still make our season something. I just saying, like, no matter what Madrid team we will get in the next round, they're still gonna be good themselves. They're still gonna be a big stadium to go to. And I think the players, fingers crossed, Saka's back because Martinelli's back now, and we can have a bit more of our starting options in the attack, and maybe we see a bit more chemistry between players and the runs that